Bony and BB. The Restless Ghost. In a dense, enchanting forest where sunlight filters through the canopy in dancing, golden patterns, two figures sat at a makeshift table carved from a fallen tree. The air was alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and distant bird calls. Here, Bony and Big Bear, or BB as he was affectionately known, were engaged in a game of chess. Bony, a skeletal ghost warrior, sat with an air of eccentric dignity. His bones gleamed an almost ethereal white, contrasting sharply with the absurdly stylish black top hat perched on his skull. He had a strong sense of justice and a penchant for fun, which often manifested in unexpected ways. Today, it was a chess game in the middle of a magical forest. BB, towering over Bony by 2 feet, was a massive brown bear with a disposition as volatile as a summer storm. Despite his quick temper and tendency to bare his teeth, he was inherently gentle and would never harm a soul. Today, his eyes were focused intently on the chessboard, his claws delicately poised over a pawn. The forest around them was no ordinary woodland. Trees with twisted, ancient trunks seemed to whisper secrets to each other. Faint, ghostly lights flickered among the foliage, and every so often, a mischievous sprite would dart through the air, giggling. Just as Bony was about to make a witty remark about BB's strategy, he leaned back with a grin and said,
"You know, BB, if your chess moves were any slower, we'd both turn into fossils."
Before BB could retort, one of the pawns on the board began to tremble. With a sudden burst of energy, it sprang to life and scampered off into the underbrush. Bony's jaw dropped in mock horror.
"Well, that's a first,"
Bony quipped, adjusting his top hat.
"BB, I think our pawn just resigned."
The duo decided to follow the rogue piece, partly out of curiosity and partly because Bony found the situation hilarious. His bones rattled with laughter as he imagined the absurdity of a runaway chess piece.
"I always knew chess could be exciting, but this is a new level,"
he chuckled, his voice echoing through the forest. As they meandered through the forest, the lush undergrowth brushing against their legs, Bony and BB engaged in their usual banter. BB, with a bemused expression, grumbled,
"Only you, Bony, could find humor in a haunted pawn. What do you think it's running from?"
Bony tapped his chin thoughtfully, his fingers making a clacking sound.
"Perhaps it's tired of being a pawn in someone else's game,"
he said with a dramatic flair, his eye sockets twinkling with amusement.
"Or maybe it just wanted a taste of freedom. Can't say I blame it."
BB snorted, his massive shoulders shaking.
"You'd make a terrible detective. You know that. Always looking for the joke in everything."
But laughter is the best way to uncover the truth, my furry friend,"
Bony replied, tipping his hat. As they walked, the forest seemed to come alive around them, as if responding to their camaraderie. Leaves rustled in agreement, and distant creatures echoed their laughter. It was a world of enchantment, where the unexpected was the norm, and the line between reality and magic blurred. Suddenly, Bony glanced at BB and noticed his size had shifted slightly. It was something he had grown accustomed to, but it always fascinated him.
"You know, BB, for a bear, you sure are unpredictable. One minute you're towering over me, the next you're almost my height. What's the secret?"
BB sighed, a smile tugging at his lips.
"It's a bit of forest magic, really. The Monkey King bestowed it upon me ages ago. Said it would help me protect the forest more effectively. I can grow or shrink depending on the need. Makes it easier to handle different situations, you know."
Bony nodded, his curiosity piqued.
I remember now. That time you shrank to sneak into the squirrel's hideout and retrieve my missing femur. Quite the sight!
Yes, and let's not forget the time I had to grow to scare off those poachers.
BB added, his voice tinged with pride.
It's not just for show, Bony. It's about balance. The forest has a way of guiding us to what it needs.
As they continued their journey, the forest seemed to respond to BB's shifting sizes, accommodating his every move. The trees whispered secrets, and the path widened or narrowed as needed, guiding them toward their next adventure. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a frantic monkey messenger. The small creature was darting to and fro, its eyes wide with terror. It skidded to a halt in front of them, panting heavily. Bony crouched down to its level, his skeletal form making the monkey's eyes widen even more.
Well, what do we have here? A messenger in distress!
The monkey, still catching its breath, nodded vigorously and began chattering in a language Bony and BB had long learned to understand. Bony and BB exchanged glances.
Seems like trouble's brewing,
Bony mused. With a nod from BB, they followed the monkey deeper into the forest until they reached a grand castle entwined with vines and guarded by a troop of vigilant monkeys. Inside the castle, they were greeted by the Monkey King, a regal figure with a crown of golden leaves. His fur shimmered like the dawn, and his eyes sparkled with wisdom and a hint of mischief. The king's expression grew serious.
There has been an increase in angry ghosts and evil shadows,
he said.
We need your help. Bony, a nearby village, is plagued by a particularly troublesome spirit.
Why would anyone disturb the peace of your kingdom?
Bony asked, his curiosity piqued. The Monkey King sighed, his eyes darkening.
A dark sorcerer named Malakar has been seen lurking near the forest boundaries. He seeks to disrupt the balance and draw power from the unrest of disturbed spirits. It's said he thrives on chaos and misery.
Bony and BB exchanged concerned glances.
We have to help the village and put those spirits to rest,
BB said resolutely.
Indeed.
The Monkey King agreed.
But be cautious. Malakar is cunning and dangerous. This might be a ploy to divert your attention.
With their mission clear, Bony and BB set off to the village. Arriving at the village, Bony and BB found chaos. Objects were being hurled through the air by an unseen force. Bony stepped forward only to be struck by a flying chair, which sent his bones scattering. As Bony reassembled himself, a large, menacing ghost materialized, hurling another chair their way. BB swatted it aside effortlessly and growled,
Enough.
Bony, adjusting his top hat once more, asked,
Why so angry, friend?
The ghost, its form wavering with emotion, lamented,
Someone dug up my grave and threw my bones in the river.
Bony and BB, with their hearts of justice, promised to set things right. They journeyed to the disturbed grave, finding it desecrated and empty. Bony and BB went to the river, where they found the disturbed graves and bones scattered about. As they carefully buried the bones again, Bony couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a larger conflict. Returning to the village, they reassured the spirits. With a nod of thanks, the ghost faded away, leaving Bony and BB to share a satisfied smile.
Another day, another mystery solved,
Bony said with a wink, adjusting his top hat one final time. As they prepared to leave, BB turned to Bony.
We need to keep an eye out for this Malakar. I have a feeling our paths will cross sooner rather than later.
Bony nodded in agreement.
But for now, let's focus on restoring peace, one step at a time.
The adventure was far from over, and Bony and Bibi knew they would need all their wits and courage for the challenges ahead. As they are about to return to their homes, the haunted chess piece reappears and hops around their feet.
Looks like we have a new friend,
said Bony with a laugh. Bibi happily agreed.
Let's take him along for our next adventure.
And if one thing is certain in the Enchanted Forest, it's that the next adventure is just around the corner.